Julie Andrews did not begin life in the glow of applause, but in uncertainty and emotional fragility. Born in 1935 in England, her early years were marked by instability, secrets, and the quiet tension of a fractured home. For much of her childhood, she believed one man was her father, only to later discover a truth that shook her sense of identity. That moment stayed with her, not loudly, but as a quiet fracture beneath everything she became. War, poverty, and emotional distance surrounded her upbringing, leaving her to grow up faster than most children. In a world where safety felt uncertain, she learned early that strength often grows in silence, and that survival sometimes begins long before dreams have a chance to form. The voice that became refuge. In a home where comfort was inconsistent, her voice became something more than talent. It became protection. Singing offered a place where fear could not follow, a private space where she could feel whole. Even as a child, her voice carried unusual clarity and control, something rare and unmistakable. Yet it wasn't nurtured gently, it was pushed forward by circumstance. Performing became less about joy and more about necessity. Each note she sang helped her rise above the instability around her. While other children found comfort in family, she found it in sound. Over time, that voice transformed into both her identity and her escape. A fragile but powerful thread connecting her inner world to something brighter, something that felt like possibility. Discipline forged in hardship. Her training was not easy, nor was it forgiving. Under strict guidance, she honed her voice with relentless discipline, learning that excellence required endurance. There were long journeys, cold nights, and moments when exhaustion nearly overtook her. Yet she persisted, driven by a quiet understanding that this was her path forward. By the age of 12, she was already performing professionally, astonishing audiences with a voice far beyond her years. Success came early, but it was never comfortable. Every performance carried pressure, every opportunity felt fragile. She understood that talent alone was not enough. It had to be protected, refined, and proven again and again. Through discipline, she transformed vulnerability into strength, shaping the foundation of a career that would soon reach extraordinary heights, rising to global stardom. Her transition to international fame came with remarkable speed. Roles in productions like Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music introduced her to the world as a symbol of warmth, grace, and vocal brilliance. Audiences fell in love with her presence, her voice, and the emotional sincerity she brought to every role. Awards and recognition followed, but behind the success was constant pressure. She carried the weight of expectation quietly, knowing how quickly success could disappear. Even at the peak of her career, she never felt entirely secure. The same drive that lifted her forward also reminded her of how fragile everything could be. Stardom did not erase her past. It simply gave her a larger stage on which to carry it. Love, growth, and quiet loss. Her personal life reflected the same depth and complexity as her career. Her first marriage, built on shared dreams and creative connection, slowly faded under the strain of growing fame and distance. It ended not with conflict, but with quiet sadness. Later, she found a deeper, more enduring partnership with Blake Edwards. Their relationship was not perfect, but it was real, built on understanding, patience, and mutual support. Together, they created a life that balanced creativity with family. They faced struggles, including illness and emotional challenges, but remained committed to one another through it all. Their bond became a source of stability, offering her something she had long searched for, a sense of belonging that could withstand life's uncertainties. The loss that changed everything. At the height of her legacy, something unimaginable happened. A routine medical procedure in 1997 damaged her vocal cords, taking away the very voice that had defined her life. For someone whose identity was so deeply tied to sound, the loss was devastating. It was not just a professional setback, it was deeply personal. She described it as losing a part of herself. Attempts to repair the damage failed, and the realization slowly settled in. She would never sing the same way again. The silence that followed was not peaceful. It was heavy, unfamiliar, and deeply painful. Yet even in that loss, she faced the reality with quiet courage, refusing to let it define the end of her story. Reinventing purpose beyond sound. Instead of retreating, she adapted. She shifted her creative energy into writing, storytelling, and narration, discovering new ways to connect with audiences. Her collaboration on children's books allowed her to express the same warmth and imagination that once lived in her singing. Though her voice changed, her presence did not fade. She continued to work in film and television, proving that expression is not limited to one form. This chapter of her life revealed something deeper than talent. It revealed resilience. When one identity was taken, she built another. Her journey became less about performance and more about meaning, showing that purpose can evolve even when circumstances feel final. A life of quiet strength. As the years passed, she stepped into a more reflective phase of life. Her work shifted from constant performance to mentorship, creativity, and family. She remained connected to the arts, guiding younger generations and supporting meaningful causes. Her life became less about public recognition and more about private fulfillment. Surrounded by children, grandchildren, and a lifetime of memories, she found peace in simpler moments. The woman who once commanded stages around the world now embraced a quieter rhythm. Yet her influence remained just as powerful, carried not through performance, but through the lives she touched and the stories she continued to share. A legacy beyond the voice. Today at 90, Julie Andrews stands as more than a legend of film and music. She represents endurance, grace, and the ability to rise after loss. Her story is not defined by the voice she lost, but by the strength she found afterward. She showed the world that identity is not confined to a single gift and that even in silence, a life can remain deeply meaningful. Her legacy lives not only in her iconic roles, but in her resilience, her kindness, and her quiet determination to keep going. Long after the music faded, she proved something far more lasting, that the human spirit, when tested, can still endure with dignity and light.